Welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today, we're going to work on a rug, rope rug, but flat, so straight lines. So you could do this as a rug, a table runner, make this as placemats, do this as there's actually quite a few ideas you just got to think about. I was thinking a couple bath mats for the bathroom, something for in front of the sink, maybe another one in front of the long arm sort of thing, a nice long one, because you can just put your pieces together and just sew. So I have one not done in Christmas fabric, so this is going to go towards my Christmas collection. I'm trying to do something Christmas every month. I almost forgot that I missed it for April here, or at least I thought I had. And I just, a bunch of little Christmas, and even just one that's got a blue paisley in it here. And I think it's really cute. I did one strip of each on this one, and of course you could make it bigger, though I'll show you how to finish the edge up there, so we can't do it on that one, but definitely you can increase. This one, because I really like the cute little flower pattern here, I chose 3 colors for this one, and I sewed 2 strips together just to kind of bulk it out to the point where you can see it a little bit better. And then when I did the one with the little wave here on it, I tried to match up the best I could with those 2 pieces together. So we're just going to make a couple more pieces for this one here, and then I will show you how to finish it off. So yeah, I would have made it bigger, but I ran out of the green. The green with the plaid print on it. So it was like, eh. And that was 10 pieces of each fabric, except for this one was only 9 or 8. Yeah, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, this one was only 8. So, but that's okay. We can add another piece section over onto this side and still make it all nice and beautiful. All right, so we take our 2.5-inch strip of fabric. Usually the width of the fabric. This is what'll get you here if you're just using the width of the fabric. This one was a bit different because I had different lengths of fabric, and being some of the Christmas stuff, some got trimmed off here and there, but this was all the width of the fabric. So you end up with a good sized carpet or rug or placemat or whatever it is that you would like. It's probably about 42 inches or something like that, depending on how you are going to straighten up your cut. Okay. And then I took my batting strips, and boy, do I have a big bag of batting strips. So this is another way to bust it. If you would like to check out that video, maybe we'll put a little link at the end, and you can check that out, how to deal with your batting scraps. And this is definitely one way to deal with it for sure. So we take a strip that is approximately 2 to 2.25 inches of batting, and we're going to put it right in between. And then we're just going to fold the raw edge to the center, raw edge to the center, trying to line up the pattern. We don't want it too askew or it's going to get a little wonky when we go to sew it too, right? So, and then flip it so you have those 2 edges all tucked in, and those 2 raw edges all the way tucked in. So I usually start off with a pin just to make sure we're keeping her on the straight, and then I just fixing it as I go, moving it down. And then when it comes to a part where you're going to have to add another strip of batting, okay, unless you get a pre-purchase roll, but definitely if you can just ask a long armor, I'm sure you can get batting strips for free. You just want to be able to just overlap them just a smidge, just a little smidge. I wouldn't do anything else. I wouldn't try and stitch them together or anything like that, because they're just going to get folded, and stitched down anyways, and it's barely even a lump. There was actually a couple of spots on here that I think I overlapped it a little bit too much, like it was probably maybe an inch or something. I probably wasn't paying that much attention, and it did get a little flumpy bumpy, but that's okay. Yeah, it's for me. All right, so let's start off at the top here. And sew this one complete, and then we'll sew it to its counterpartner here, and then we'll sew those 2 to this one. I worked in 2 strips at a time, and then put those 2 strips together, and then put like 6 together, and then and then put that 6 to the side, made another 6, put that 6 together, so I had 12. I seemed easier to work throughout the machine. I wasn't getting too many of a curve. You can always use the iron and some spray starts to help flatten it a little bit if you feel like it's getting a little wobbly, and always try and flip and flop up when you're adding your pieces as well, okay? And if you're using the same consistency of batting, that should also help. And if you're also butting it up from the folded edge where we're sewing down to like the rounded edge, and you're sewing between those two, not just, you know, rounded edge to rounded edge, right? So, all right. So just a straight stitch. I did increase it to about 3.3 or 3.2 or something like that. I have my walking foot on. That is definitely a plus. You will struggle, maybe not struggle, but you will find it a little bit harder to get through if you don't use the walking foot. So hopefully your machine either has one, or this is a good time to invest in a new tool or ask for a new tool. Mother's Day is coming up. All right, so we're just going to sew straight all the way down. And I'm just using a very neutral tan thread for this project, but could you imagine this beautiful pink or this beautiful purple all stitched in between this whole lines where it's coming together would really make the purple flower stand out, and all the, you know, yeah, just, you know, your thread choice is going to make a big difference as well. So whether you want it to blend or to stand out. Okay, so you're just going to fold them to the inside. Okay. Oh, make sure your little hooks in the back are down as well, or hooked in. Hold on, let me move these out of the way. Is it? Oh, no, it wasn't. Okay. Sometimes it pops out. I don't know why it pops out, but it pops out. Okay. And you can really tell when they stop feeding. The feed dogs. Okay. And then just sew a little bit, fold over, in on itself. Make sure you get nice and even. Nice and even, the best even as possible, because this is going to make your whole the whole project go much smoother if you're trying to make all the pieces as equal as possible. Okay. And this is a great way to bust maybe some fabrics, or maybe not your favorite, or you got some really funky fabric. You can cut it, even if it's the same color, you're giving it a quilted sort of textured look when you do this with it. So even if it's you just using one color, I think it would still make an awesome, you know, rug. So, all right, here we come to our added section, add our other little piece. Okay. Just want to make sure we're laying it over top, not too much, just a little bit, just enough to make sure it's going to stay and not shift. Put those two edges together, pinch, and then I usually try to come down just a little bit further, so when I'm doing that continuing stitch, I'm coming right past that spot I'm holding on right there. So there, I'm going to fold that there, pinch it, feed it in. Hold that section, just in case I may be tugging the batting or something, until I get a few stitches in and I know it's all secure, and then come on down, go all the way to the end, even including the selvage, okay? Because that just gives you more space to even things up. You can hide that selvage if you needed to in the binding, okay? And then you take a sharp pair of snips or scissors and clip that right off, okay? And that just goes more into the bag. Now we're going to take the two of these, okay, and I'm going to line them up. So I've got the same salvages at the same end. I'm going to change my machine to a zigzag. Oh. Did I get it right there? Oh. There we go. Okay. Hit the wrong button. All right, and I'm going to turn the zigzag part up to 5. Okay, and I'm going to change the stitch length that it's going to do up to 2 or 2 and a little bit. Just because we can do a bigger zigzag, we don't have to do it so close together. We're not doing an applique. We're just sticking 2 pieces of fabric that's already sealed all together, okay? Like I said, if you did this in a beautiful colored thread, it would look so amazing. We'd give it a whole other different look and texture to it. You want to keep the center of your needle or the center of your foot right in the center of the lines. Like I said, you want to have a folded edge to a rounded edge, okay? And then straight on down. And this is a great afternoon, weekend project, a special gift for somebody. You know, for a brand new baby, make a nice cover for the room, or even just something for yourself. You know, make a nice little bath rug. Make a nice bath rug for you. Why not? And I'm trying to make sure that my pattern is continued, like the yellows are lining up, the blues lining up. I'm not getting anything that's too shifted and it's going to look too wonked. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, I was trying my best just to make it visually appealing by continuing the pattern. And same for the flower pot one. There was a couple of little sections there that you could line up, so I lined them up the best that I could, so it was a bit nice visually appealing for them to come together. And if you did 3 colors of the same, I think it would look even better. It's your choice. You can one of each of all your collection, make a rainbow carpet, or even like a big table runner. It would be fantastic. Oh, did I run out of thread? Oh, just at the end. Okay, that's okay. I had another one. This is taking a lot of thread too. So I'm also using a bit of a thicker thread. It's a signature thread, so it's a little bit thicker on the gauge as well. So, but it's one I had, spare here. Not necessarily spare, but it's been here a while, so we might as well use her up. All right, back over here. Finish this row up, and then we'll put the two together. Okay. So it needs to go the blue and then the flower, okay? All right, and again, we want to make sure we're putting a rounded against a folded, okay? So we'll straighten that out, stick these 2 together, do the same thing. Oh, it hooked under the foot, which popped the hook out. That's okay. The more you know, the more successful you will be. There you go. Just line her up nice and straight. Don't try and tug to one more than the other. You kind of want to make sure you're getting them both at the end at the same time-ish. I mean, sometimes it just moves a little off a little bit, but that's what trimming's all about. Sometimes not all fabrics are 42 inches, or some are 44, some are 40, some are 41. It all depends. It all depends on the manufacturer. Okay, so we just want to get close to their I mean, you could have, like I said, it's a funky fabric, and you just cut it the strips you're looking for. Say if you want a 60-inch long carpet, I'd probably cut them at 70 to give yourself 5 inches on either side of flexibility when you're lining up pieces to come together, to get a nice straight line cut. Okay. And you could always fold over the edge, or even maybe even just pinking shear them if you wanted to. If you didn't want to even have to finish off the edges. No one says you have to. See, that came out pretty good. There we go. And then we add that to the bigger side. Okay. There we go. Oops. I was like, what happened there? And now I want to take exact here and line up the rounded with the folded. And I kind of want to make sure I'm lined up at least the best I can. So when there's trimmage, we're good. Looks like, I went a little bit on a staircase here. You get it. You get it. And you go a little slower if the speed is too fast for you. You control the pedal. You do what you like. Okay, and then just give yourself lots of space. I found it easier to put the strips and strips and strips together and then add it to the big one. There was less of handling the big one all the time, or as it was getting bigger. So, and I think this is a great way for people to take on doing like a Jellyroll rug, or busting your 2-inch. Oops, I keep hitting the microphone. I'm sorry about that. 2-inch strips of your fabric and making something beautiful, and maybe are a little bit too intimidated, or don't want to try the circular one or the oval shaped one. I think a circular one would be awesome too. Having batting the same consistency all the way through your project is pretty key on having keeping flat and a circular shape. Okay, That's beautiful. That's a good size. So what I just say is about 40. We're going to trim it up to 42 or something like that. And then, like I say, give it some heat loving if it wants to be cooperative. And it's almost 20 inches wide. So that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I'll show you how you finish it off. Okay, then you're just going to cut your edges nice and flat. Okay, like I did on that one. So of course you want to optimize your fabric as much as you can. So you really want to look at the shortest spot. Well, the shortest spot is this black one right down here, or the one with the cardinals, the gold and black. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm on a nice straight line. Like I said, I might need to, you know, manipulate that with some spray starch and a little bit of heat loving, and we'll get it controlled. And we want a nice straight line to go all the way up. Okay. Take your time. And because it's thick, I'm going to stand up and make sure I have that pressure to get myself all the way through without going a little crazy. Okay. You could also chalk mark that and use your scissors if you were afraid to cut it with your rotary cutter, all right? You literally could have just made a nice chalk mark and used your scissors and then come in and cut that. Now this, you could even trim off here and there, and you got yourself a mug rug. You could add this to something else. I sewed the two for the other side together, and I'm like, hey, I can trim that up and seal that up, and that's a mug rug for me. So, but this one would be kind of good because it's almost a good enough size. That'll fit a cup of tea and a cookie, no problem. All right, now I'm going to take my other fabric here, make sure I'm doing it the right way. So we'll do it on this side. Okay. And I want to do it just like I would a binding. I'm going to fold in that edge. Fold in this edge. Well, it's a little bit much. I'm sorry, I should have done a little less. Okay. There. But we're going to tuck in the raw edges right on the ends, okay, just like that. Okay, big chunk going up the hill. And then we're going to take that other raw edge, come right down to the center here, against the end of the project. All the raw edges are together, okay. Pin that there. I was putting 3 pins in just to make sure it was keeping nice and straight along this edge here. Like I said, tuck your edges in. Got no raw edges exposed. And then we're just going to use a straight stitch and hug right next to the 1/4 inch, right on this one here, and then just flip over and stitch and finish it off. And that's easy. Okay, change the machine to a straight stitch. Oops. But I think with a lovely colored thread, it would be so amazing for this project too, to really, really make it stand out and give that personal touch if you're trying to make something special for somebody. Cut the threads, and then turn it over, flip it back underneath the machine, and then you're just covering up those raw edges. Okay, make sure your fabric is coming up and over the top. You may have to slip a little pin in there to make sure it stays. So I'm trying to get right underneath the feed dogs. I don't want it to hook, so I think I might. All right, and then just fold it over and stitch all the way down. Okay. And that just seals up everything. You could use this as a nice complementary, binding, because I just used something that was actually in the project itself. But I mean, if you had bright colors, you could use a black to frame it all up, or use the last rows on either side, use that black, and that would also help frame it up, because you'd have, the frame would be stitched in and then the other one would be stitched on, sort of thing. I don't know if it makes any sense. There we go, isn't that cute? And then a lovely little Christmas placemat or table runner or what have you. It needs a little bit of manipulation on the outside edge there, but I think it's beautiful, and this one's going to turn out a lovely too. And I'll probably use this fabric right here as the binding to finish that one off. So, yes. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. We'll see you Saturday, 1 p.m. for our live stream where we're going to continuation of our beautiful Dresden rainbow. I really wanted to include pink on that, so I've done some pink. And so anyways, the numbers kind of got changed to like 5 colors of each. So we got 5 red, 5 pink, and then we'll do 5 yellow and 5 orange. So stay tuned tomorrow or Saturday for that. And we greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you. Big hugs, and we'll see you soon. And I hope you make a carpet today, or a rug, whatever you want to call it. Take care, everybody.